Yo, welcome to Directly to You. It's episode 19. I'm here with Fried Biscuits. I'm AJ from Redirect on Watch Redirect. I need to clarify that because we're on Fried Biscuits channel. This is weird. We had to record on a different day, so he's hosting it, kinda.
Not kinda.
It's like you're hosting it as far as the live recording, but it's still the same show. But
it's still the same. It'll be up on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be up on YouTube on Thursday for everybody here that hasn't seen this show before. On youtube.com/directly to you. But anyway, we can get through all that jargon. We're here to talk about video games and such and whatnot. This year, it's something that I've like slowly been retroactively realizing has been ridiculous in terms of video games. And it kind of sucks because like it's juxtaposed with all the like controversy that's like, you know, valid in a lot of ways. Like the world's blowing up, everything's more expensive and all other kind of crap. But that removed, the games that we've gotten this year has been crazy. And the
games have been nuts.
Especially when you compare it in the way that people are like, they try to compare it. At least I know the Nintendo community tries to compare it in this way, where it's like, well, the Switch launch was way better than the Switch 2 launch. And just looking at the games that we've gotten this year compared to that year, that's objectively false. It's just not, there's no universe where that's true. Because like pound for pound, we've gotten some ridiculous stuff, especially if we allow the caveats that they allow in that comparison, right? Where for them, in the comparison, they allow stuff like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? But if you allow Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, then you got to allow Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? At that point, because we got Switch 2 editions. So I kind of wanted to look at what we have so far in terms of the releases in regards to the Metascores and how they're received with the audience, and look at the same for 2017. And then look at the what we have on the horizon still for the rest of the year. Because barring some random Nintendo Direct that says, yo, we're getting more games in December randomly, we pretty much know what we're going to get for the rest of 2025. So it's easy to be like, all right, this is that year compared to this year. You know what I mean?
I'm looking at 2017. Was there even a lot of Switch games that came out in 2017? I don't even feel like there was.
There was like a decent amount of
the later half.
There was a decent amount of Switch games, but again, a lot of it is like kind of hazy because a lot of it is Wii U ports. But Wii U ports in the moment felt like brand new games for most people because Wii U sold freaking 13 copies. You know, so it's just
I
like
had a Wii U. I was a part of that 13.
Yo, same. We just got to find the 11 other people.
Other people.
So looking at this, right, and that even like the other ones that we have analog. So the top 10 reviewed games for Metacritic, and I have everything included because that's another important distinction in regards to what's different and more advantageous for Switch 2 is that it's gotten more multiplats day and date, or at least close to day and date, than Switch did. So in the first year, the top 10 rated games from 10 to 1 was it's What Remains of Edith Finch at 10, XCOM 2 at 9, Horizon Zero Dawn at 8, Lone Echo at 7. I'm not like, I don't want to name the Metascore because that's not really the important part to me. I think the numbers kind of stupid.
It's just the top games.
It's just a good metric to be like, these are the games that were received well in general. But then Shovel Knight, which is the first one that actually came to Switch that we're at, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Persona 5, which came to Switch eventually, but that was the tail end of its life. Divinity Original Sin 2, right? Yeah, 2. Yeah, I don't think that came. Did that came at 27? Did that come 2017 for Switch? I know it came, but I don't remember if it came at launch.
Later on, but that was originally a PC game. That was 100% 2017 PC.
Right. Okay. So
I know because I played it.
So Divinity, I knew that it came out, and I knew it came to Switch, but I figured it was later because they sent it to us. They sent it to us a couple times because we got.
That was the port for the Switch. Was it good?
I don't know. I didn't play it. They sent it to us for Parker. I don't play really play games like that. I'm gonna try Baldur's Gate 3 when that comes to Switch too, but if/when I assume it's gonna come eventually. But that game I didn't have the zeitgeist egging me on. And then Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild rounding out the rest of the top 10. For the top 10 for this year so far, because again the year's not over. They're beating me over my head with an ad. All right, at 10 we got I don't even know how to say that. Do you know what this game is?
Is it on the bottom?
Despelote? Lote? I don't know.
Despelote?
Yeah.
Despelote.
At number 10 in 2025.
That's how I'm saying it.
Somebody in the comments or chat, if you know, let us know. Trials in Sky. The other thing that's annoying about this is the titles. I gotta hover over it. Trials in the Sky first chapter at number 9. That's the first Switch 2 game that is also on Switch 2. We got there a lot faster in this top 10. Number 8, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Number 7, Hollow Knight Silk Song. Number 6, Split Fiction. Number 5, Blueprints, which is I think that's on Switch. So technically you could play it on Switch too, but we don't got to count it for the comparison's sake. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 at number 4. That's not on Switch or Switch 2. Hades 2 at number 3. And then they have Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in here. Which
I don't know if like technically they're like kind of like a remaster, but at the same time,
exactly.
I don't know if I feel,
that's what I'm saying. So
right
like
counting it.
Even beyond that, we can go lower. And then the Talos Principle, what's the rest of this title? Talos Principle Reawakened. That's another one that's a remaster.
And Death Stranding.
And then Death Stranding. And if we don't want to count that remaster, it's Monster Hunter Wilds.
Nah, this year was solid, dude.
This year was crazy.
And it's even still got not Hollow Knight.
Yeah. We
finally got Hollow Knight.
Pound for pound, there's at least one analog for everything we got in the first year of Switch, with maybe the exception being Breath of the Wild, because like if you don't count Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, there's not really a game that's like, well, this was made by that team and it has similar value propositions and stuff like that, right? But we got the Mario Odyssey and Donkey Kong Bonanza. We got
It's wild that I'm looking at this list. It's wild that Mario Kart 8 scored higher than World.
Yeah.
Even though the scores really don't matter, but at the same time, it is low on the list.
What was the score for the original Mario Kart 8?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm about to look it up. Mario Kart 8.
The Wii U one?
Yeah.
I even forget that it was a Wii U game.
Yeah, I think most people do. It got an 88 originally.
It's almost the same as World when it came out.
Yeah, so there's that. And you also got to keep in mind that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is DLC bundled with the original game and additional improvements even on top of the DLC. Like, this is base level, just naked Mario Kart World. We have no idea what Mario Kart World's going to look like at the end of its life. So it's kind of a weird comparison in that regard. And then also, again, it's like, if we want to count that as a win for Switch, then you got to count Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild for Switch 2. And I don't know if people want that. I don't know if people want that smoke to get their narrative off, because that's a tough one to win, I think. And then
also there was some things going against the Switch 2 when it came out a little bit. Which
for sure. There's a lot of stuff that's going against the Switch 2, but I think for the comparison in terms of like how we'll look at it in 2035, none of that stuff is going to be things that people are thinking about, in the same way that nobody thinks about the reputation that Nintendo Switch had going into Nintendo Switch. Like, everybody wanted to hate that too when it was coming out. Everybody was saying Nintendo should go third party around that time. Everybody was saying, why would you try this handheld thing when you tried that with the Wii U and that was kind of weird and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can ask Bob. Me and him would just sit there and look at all these, like, people cover the console as if it was Nintendo's dying gasp of breath. And we're sitting here like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Like, this is clearly
it was definitely their Hail Mary. The Switch was their Hail Mary. Like, they threw
it was a Hail Mary in the sense that they threw everything that they knew they were good at at us.
At
It
it,
wasn't
yeah.
like them guessing and saying, please, I hope this works. And that's what's happening
No,
here,
no.
where
Yeah.
Switch 2 is like a home run. It's like for all intents and purposes, it's the thing that they should have done. It's just unfortunate because it aligns with the fact that everything in the world has increased in price and they're not taking it on the chin like a lot of gamers want them to. At least in America, because in other territories they're doing like in Japan with
Well,
the
I feel like
$300.
their primary source of revenue is like just in general their IPs. They
Yeah.
like yeah, I guess they make some money off the online stuff, but I feel like more than anything, people are just buying their games and their consoles. That's where they're making their main buck versus the other consoles like Sony
Yeah,
and Xbox.
because yeah, they kind of went through a transition, Sony and Microsoft, where that was the case for them, but then it came to a point where their subscription services, and I don't even necessarily mean like Game Pass and the PlayStation Plus stuff, in terms of like the games libraries, but like just having people pay for online became like the lion's share of their revenue. And that shift is beginning to happen for Nintendo, but it's a slower shift because they started at a lower price point, ironically enough. Whereas like everybody else started at $10 a month, Nintendo started at $20 a year, and they max out at $80 a year for 8 people per family.
Now also is this Xbox is insanely expensive now.
Yeah,
including their Game Pass
Xbox
thing.
made it even worse because like currently it's at $20, but they just increased it and it's
It's at
going to go
30.
up in November 4th to 30, which is crazy.
30, yeah. That's $360 a year.
Yes.
So
Which
that
is insane.
you need to justify $360 worth of games on
Right.
that.
Yes. And I'll say, anecdotally, I don't think anybody should buy Game Pass, and I don't even care about how much it costs because they're on the BDS list. Do your Googles. But yeah, no, I think that Nintendo will eventually, like, they're trying to make that level shift. I don't think that they want to do it as aggressively. I don't think they're going to be like even PlayStation, where it's like, well, we have all these different tiers and it goes between $10 a month to what is PlayStation cap out at, like 18, I think. They're like $18
Something like that.
a month for the PlayStation.
I haven't really been
Premium
paying
or whatever.
attention to PlayStation.
That's fair. But I think they cap out at like $18. Nintendo right now, again, their highest price one is $80, and that's for 8 people on a family plan. I know some people
that's
that
pretty good.
literally have not paid for Switch Online for years because they've been mooching off of at least my family plan. I got multiple people on my family plan that
Hey,
don't.
let's not talk about. I've been mooching off of someone too. I don't want
That's
to
what
talk
I'm
about
saying.
that.
That's all I'm saying. So we can't. You gotta be consistent here. People gotta be consistent. It's like either you're a money
We started
grubby
off paying
tyrant.
like $10 each, all of us, and then I just forgot.
I just
After the year.
never. It's just never been something that I pressed the issue on because $80 a month, and this is a privileged thing to say. $80 a year is nothing. Personally, I don't recognize that.
Imagine 360 a year though.
Yeah, 360 a year is crazy, and I wouldn't be
nuts,
doing
dude.
that. No way. If I'm paying, and that's just for one person. We're talking about a family plan. We're talking about, again, 8 people that get that plan for free. And obviously, they don't offer as much if you're talking. And all this is even subjective. Like some people would look at the the Nintendo library and say, I'd much rather own or have access to Mario Strikers and freaking Super Mario World and Mario 64 and Mario Kart and like Zelda Ocarina, all that stuff. I'd rather have access to those legacy games than have access to Xbox's newest, latest, and greatest. But if we're talking about like dollar for dollar in terms of like MSRP, it's in theory higher value to be like, well, here's this $70 game that's coming out, and here's this $70 game. It's added to your subscription. So in that regard, they have a less strong argument. Like I saw somebody joking earlier this week where they were like, Nintendo's online service is the Temu of online services, and it's like, I mean, I guess. If we're talking about in that regard, where it's like you get all these quote unquote free games and you get all these games that you can like in this Netflix model. But with Nintendo, it's just like You get other things. Like for me, I'm still eating off of the vouchers. Like I'm not going to be able to eat off the vouchers after Prime 4 because after that,
No.
no other games on there. But even for Switch 2, it's like I'm getting vouchers. My last set of vouchers I'm getting next week, and I'm gonna get Metroid Prime 4 with a voucher, and I'm gonna get Legends EA with a voucher, and I'm gonna upgrade those to the Switch 2 versions for $10 a piece. You know, and that was good. There was plenty of games that I bought in that way. So I think that there's a lot to be said with the quality, quantity, and even if the price is higher, if we're not looking at inflation and any of the other contexts and stuff like that, I'd argue it's worth it because what you can do with your Switch, like genuinely, I have not only have I not played my other consoles, I actively don't want to. Like I got my friends being like, yo, we should play Marvel Rivals, and I'm like, I don't feel like plugging in my PlayStation and downloading all those firmware updates. I'm good playing Donkey Kong Bonanza and Hollow Knight and Hades 2 and still playing Smash and all the other things that I play on my Switch too. I'm thoroughly satisfied.
I mean, for me, I mostly my Nintendo console is mostly
For exclusives.
yeah, it's all exclusives because I like playing on my computer even though it causes me an immense amount of pain every now and then because it's Windows. But but Marvel Rivals would be pretty cool on the Switch. I would love that.
I need that.
Obviously,
I need it.
And then also another game I would really want on my Switch besides like I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon. I want Baldur's Gate. I would like to play it portably. I refuse to play it on the freaking Steam Deck because it doesn't even really run that well. Those games don't run that well. They're not really optimized that well for those portable consoles. Yeah, and I don't want to spend another $400 or $500 on a portable PC that I have a PC already at my on my desk, and vice versa. I have a laptop too. There's no freaking point.
It's just risky because like the gift and curse with those is that they're marketed as like it's just a PC, right? But then that's how the developers view it, and that puts you at risk for not being able to have a well optimized version because they're just like optimizing for low level spec, and that may or may not apply to your PC handheld. Whereas with a console, you have to, even if it's not like done well, you have to at least pay some level of attention to optimize your video game. And that's why you see stuff like Cyberpunk 2077 and how that game runs on Switch 2 versus how it runs on Steam Deck, even though in some regards, like the CPU, the Steam Deck has a better CPU. But because they're able to take advantage of the specific things about Switch 2 that are better, it comes out ultimately being the better version because all told, obviously Switch 2 is more advanced hardware, which is also like that's a big thing of it for me because I bought a Steam Deck hoping that that's what it would be, where it's like, oh man, it's it's my handheld thing and I don't even got to engage with PC and stuff like that. But that doesn't end up being the experience. It's not an experience that it feels like they care to provide. They just want to give PC gamers a vacation home, as it were. It's like, well, you're already in this ecosystem and it doesn't really matter that it's not one-to-one with the game that we sell on PC because you got a game in PC anyway. So you're just, you're just going to play this and be happy about it because it allows you to play the game that you own in a way that you couldn't otherwise before. Whereas for somebody like me, how I bought the Steam Deck is like, I don't have a PC. I don't plan to ever own a PC. Hopefully this will allow me to play those games. And Switch 2 is starting to be the console that they're putting the thing on. And in a way, I'm happy because like it's like an iron sharpens iron situation. Like with Xbox getting into the space with the ROG Ally Xbox ROG, whatever the combination of words in whatever order, right?
The confusing naming SKU that they still don't want to like abandon. They just want to keep naming things really weird.
Exactly. The more games that come to that just allows developers to justify making versions that work on Switch 2 as well, and vice versa. It's that kind of thing where it's like we'll see more handheld, like more games come to Switch 2 just by virtue of the fact that so many people have some kind of handheld thing. And I think that it'll be a bigger blessing for handheld PCs than it will be for Switch, because I think the bigger argument for Switch 2 is just going to be the install base. Like the fact that already Switch 2 has the install base of the entire the PC handheld ecosystem is already enough justification for most major developers to keep their eye on it, especially since now it has closer parity to consoles that they're already developing for. Like most major studios never really stopped developing for last gen. So the fact that Switch 2 is like slightly above last gen and in some ways within striking distance of Series S, which developers also have a vested interest in developing for, it just makes it so we're in the situation that we're in.
Developers just want to make games where people have the most access to. I mean, sometimes there are circumstances where they're like, my vision requires this certain technology,
right?
But most part, developers want the biggest install base. That's why I think in a couple of years, most things will be on the phone.
I mean, we're kind of already moving there with the iPhone specifically. Like a lot of developers are moving there, and so that's the thing. It's like it's this marriage that's happening where it's like there's so many people that play on handheld devices, and phones and handheld devices at large are just becoming more competent. Like the gap between what's possible on a handheld and or a phone and a gaming PC, like especially an average gaming PC that most people are going to own, is closing. So you can make the game that's not, you know, like the meme version of like insert game on Nintendo platform, and it's like the N64 version of the game, and then compare that to PlayStation 5. You know, it's like that's not the case anymore. It's just literally the same thing that you would see within the PC spectrum for most games, where like obviously there's people that have these ultra high-end rigs that they're going to be able to run the game at 240 frames per second and 4K and blah 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 and all other kind of crap, right? But most people that are playing the game, they're still like, as long as they can get it at 1080p 60, they're happy still. And I think
it's more like, I think the consoles and phones are really the gap is almost there.
Yeah,
PC maybe have a little bit of but at some point the PC is going to become, as much as I love this hobby of building up rig and stuff, it's going to come to a point where it's going to be useless.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, when you're thinking the PC, like the gap between PC, you're thinking like more higher end. I'm thinking even like mid. What
it just most depends people, on the build.
What most people are going to pay for, and I don't mean people like us. I don't mean streamers. I don't even mean people that have like aspirations to stream. I'm talking about people that are like watching streamers, the kids that watch Kai Cenat play Borderlands. Like they're not going to buy a PC that's even as good as one that you have. They're going to get the $1,200 pre-built, and that might be a little bit better than a PlayStation 5.
It's just, well, it depends, like, because PlayStation 5 games are optimized for it.
Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I mean. Like
in terms of raw power, that PC will be better, like in terms of raw power, but for a gaming rig, like, no. I mean, like, it's
I'm when I say that, I'm specifically talking about the lived experience, what we engage with, because those raw numbers are theoretical and it doesn't take into account all the other things that the computer is doing that is going to eat up that, on top of the fact that, like we talked about earlier, a lot of PC developers don't optimize for that specific spec to get every morsel of juice out of the potential theoretical like throughput of the PC. So it's like, even if in theory, like if you put teraflops and like Geekbench score to Geekbench score, the mid-range PC will score higher. The games that you'll play at the same level of quality is putting you in PS5.
There's a different series. Optimization things. Like for instance, when I played Elden Ring, at the time I had a top of the line rig.
Right.
Top. Okay, like $2,000-$3,000 rig. And I spent that a year ago. So it's very on par at that point. Elden Ring was struggling to hit 60 FPS because it was not optimized. It would drop frames. I had to finish that game on my PS5.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I was upset.
Which
I was
shouldn't
genuinely
happen.
mad.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen. But we got a little off topic with that. I wanna finish by just talking about the games that we're gonna get this month. Like we could go rest of the year if we really wanted.
This is
this month.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Is crazy. Like we already got Lego Party, which I don't know. Have you seen anything about that? About Lego Party?
I'm looking at your list because you sent me the stuff, and there's only like 4 games that I knew were coming here. Actually, yeah, 5. I never heard about Lego Party though.
I've been seeing people talk about it. It's like in the same kind of way that people talked about the Sonic racing game. Sonic Racing.
Oh, like comparing it to Mario Kart.
Where it's like, is this better than Mario Party? Yeah, exactly. Is this better than Mario? So I've been seeing a lot of people saying that game is good. And at bare minimum, I don't know. Hold on, wait. This is a multi-platform game, no? I'm pretty sure this game is multi-platform. But the question is it cross-play? Because if it's cross-plat, then that in and of itself is a big win for that video game. But I don't know, because Lego Voyager was not crossplay, which was insane to me. So let me see. Lego Party crossplay. Yes. Oh, it is crossplay. So that in and of itself is a big W for that game. Because if you got friends that don't have a Nintendo platform but would want to play a Mario Party style game, you got it in Lego Party. So that was pretty cool. I think I might check that out, but I don't know yet. TBD on that. Hold on. I gotta reopen the site again. Lego Party. Okay, so the next thing, and these games already came out. So because it's October 1st and 2nd. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 that came out on the 2nd. Little Nightmares 3 that's coming out on the 10th of October. Just Dance. Every year everybody gets a Just Dance. October 14th. Pokemon Legends EA on the 16th. Persona 3. You're hoping that it's going to be good?
Yeah.
So am I. I got my fingers crossed. I'm also kind of scared with how I'm doing, because I'm doing the Narnia thing. But like, it's like weird in the currency thing and like how much they charge for things. So like the game in theory is cheaper to get through the New Zealand currency or whatever, because you can get the vouchers. That turns out to be, I think it's like $80 to get the voucher. So that's 2 games for $40. And then on top of that, I just get the upgrade pack, which is $10. I thought that even that was going to be cheaper, but their upgrade packs in New Zealand are more expensive. They're like
tax too.
They're like $20. Well, tax is included in the price. But their vouchers, or not their vouchers, their upgrade pack, at least for this game, is $20. And I think it's the same for Metroid, which is crazy. I don't know why their upgrade packs cost more over there, but I feel bad for y'all. they're taxing. That's OD.
Man, I got the spot to get it early. It's still there.
I know what spot you're talking about. But that's retail, right? That's like you're paying the regular price.
Yeah, I can't use voucher. No, I gotta spend the full amount.
Yeah,
$70. Well, yeah, $70. Yeah.
And when do you get it? Like what? Because I'm gonna play. Are you day one? Well, you got it. Are you taking off work?
Is it on Thursday?
It's on Thursday, unless you get it early. I was about to say, are you getting it early?
There's no point for me to getting it early either. Then.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna get it on Wednesday. I think it unlocks at like 7 a.m. So like me and Trev and Mega Man and probably some other people are going to do that, and then I'm a marathon that.
It's gonna suck too, because I'm not gonna really be able to play it. I mean, I can play it. The weekend. I can play it at midnight when I get home from work. Not even. I get home at like 1 a.m.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, I wake up late, but my day is shot. My day is always shot. Weekends, I have somewhat of a day.
I mean, at least it would be easy to avoid spoilers. That's the silver lining. Well, relatively.
Yeah, dude,
easy.
I'm not. Yeah.
it's rough for me because I got PokeTuber friends. I had to mute them because they just be tweeting spoilers, and I'm like, yo, you got like the ability to make this opt in. Like, I don't know why y'all don't do the like click view, like sensitive content or whatever. They just be raw tweeting the spoilers. So I had, I had to mute some people because I'm not trying to see the mega evolutions and all that kind of crap before it comes out. I want that moment of when I'm playing the game and I get the Mega Stone and I evolve it for the first time and be like, what is this? Or oh, that's sick or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like, I love having that moment. It's like some people don't think it's that big of a deal for spoilers and in certain like Mario and Pokemon and blah blah blah. And to some degree, I agree, but for the sake of the experience of playing through the game, I definitely think not spoiling what Pokemon get new forms and evolutions and all that kind of stuff makes sense. Especially, I think a lot of times in those spaces, they talk about the possibility of the game more than they talk about the game. Like, they're going to talk about leaks and what's been confirmed or not up until the game comes out, and then instead of talking about the game, they're on to what leaks and speculation for the next thing immediately. And that's just not really experience that I partake in. Like, I like speculating, but I like talking about the actual game more. So that's something that I'm misaligned on. But the next game, Persona 3 Reload, 23rd of October, which I tried this game. Cool. I tried it.
If you're not an RPG guy, it's hard to get into.
Yeah, it was rough, man. It was rough. I played the demo.
Mean, Pokemon is a collectathon with an RPG. This is also a collectathon, but like, if this is not your genre, if you don't like that,
it's a visual novel is my thing. It's like, I played this game and I knew it was going to be a turn-based RPG, which I already am predisposed not to like. But on top of that, I didn't even get to do turn-based combat, and I played that demo for like an hour and like 50 something minutes, and I was like, yo, I'm almost 2 hours into this game and I have done one tutorial battle and that's it. I'm out.
It is very much, it is a visual novel, and you have to do it in order to unlock things, like,
right,
to fight.
That's rough.
I think if anything, SMT would be more your speed. If anything, even though RPGs aren't like totally your speed, SMT is just fighting. That's all it is. Yeah. It's mostly fighting.
Because the thing is, like, I like a lot of RPG mechanics. I think it's kind of like, even for things that I do, like Legends Arceus is a good example, right? Like, in theory, that game should have been more for me than it ended up being, because it even describes itself as an action RPG. I like RPG mechanics, but the thing about it is, and the problem that I have with RPGs is, I don't like it when they make that mechanic something that in other games is like an enhancement, the entire meal. You know what I mean? Like, the Legends Arceus made the Pokedex, which is like this optional, like additional, like flex thing of like, yeah, I caught every Pokemon, the entire video game, you know, which makes the overall experience.
It's not just the flavor; it's the whole entree.
It's like, I know you like barbecue wings. Here's Sweet Baby Ray's and nothing else. You don't get the chicken. You just get the sauce.
I get sick of it pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'm good off that. But I'm happy for people that like the game. You know, more third party support. I will say their comments on their port job, not promising for this developer in particular. But I'm happy that the game is there. Yeah, because people are like complaining about certain things about the game, like certain I think it's like lighting problems or something like that, and also the frame pacing. I think it's bad, according to people. And the game, again, like I never played the original game.
Like, it's not a solid 30 or 60. It's just like stuttering.
I think the frame rate is okay, but it's like the game gets out of sync with the other versions of the game because frame pacing is bad.
Okay.
Is the thing. So that's the complaints that I've been seeing. And then Atlas made a comment where they were basically like, we didn't get to like actually developed the game on a dev kit for the majority of our time porting the game. And once we got it, we were more or less happy with the job that we already did. And we think that we're going to be within striking distance of every other third-party port. That,
of course,
that has not turned out to be the case. I don't know if they care to,
I love Persona games. As much as I love Persona games, Atlas is very money hungry. They are so money hungry. Any way to cut corners, they'll do it.
Yeah, it was rough. I feel bad for people that like that game. For one, though, I don't really care.
I played it. I played it already. I got my enjoyment out of it. That's a game that I do not want to replay ever.
You never want to play it again?
Because it's 100 hours. I don't want to play a game 100 hours again.
It wasn't a fun 100 hours?
It was a great 100 hours, and some of it was traumatizing, but I don't want to do it again.
That's fair. Next game is Plants vs. Zombies Replanted on the 24th of October. I've only played Plants vs. Zombies on the iPhone, and I played like the first like, I don't know, 4 levels or something like that, and I was like, I get it, and then I never played it again, so I have no interest in this. Apparently this game has like PvP combat for the first time or something like that. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Really? Great. No, I'm good.
I have no idea. This is a remastered. Actually, no, isn't this a new one? Is this a new one? Once Upon a Katamari. I don't know if this is a new one or not. I remember Kevin Kenson was pretty hype about one of the Katamari announcements that they made, because it was like every Katamari game that they've been releasing has just been like remakes and remasters and stuff like that of older Katamari games. I think this one is new, but I'd have to confirm with him, because I don't remember if it's this one or if it was another one that got announced. But anyway, that's also on the 24th of October. On the 29th, we get 2 Point Museum. I never played a 2 Point game, but they gotta have an audience. They make a lot of them, so like people like these games. I think probably.
2 Point. I don't even know what this is.
You never heard of 2
Point? Finding your. Oh, you make a museum?
Yeah, something like that.
It's probably one of those. It's probably one of those like relax games.
Yeah,
people like to play.
I can see it. I'm good off it though. I'm not buying that. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake. I thought that this was already out.
Isn't it out on?
Is it the third one that came out? Did they do the third one first and that came out, and now this is 1 and 2?
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think that's what it was.
Well, you got 1 and 2 now.
The Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake came out first. Wild. And they sold it for $60 at the time. Oh my god.
What's the price for 1 and 2? 70?
It's probably going to be 60. I don't think these games sold as well as that, because Square is not doing too hot right now.
I don't think they ever do as good as people like you would think. You know, it kind of has like the Zelda.
They were doing decent,
but worse.
They were doing well enough. Like during COVID, I guess every company was though. During COVID, they were doing well because of the Final Fantasy VII remake. Mm-hmm. And then they had also one of the best.
I thought they said that Final Fantasy VII remake underperformed. But so I think the thing about Square Enix.
Rebirth.
It was Rebirth? Oh, okay.
Rebirth did.
Gotcha.
Remake did great. Rebirth didn't do that a lot.
Right. Okay. Because I know that there was like that era around when they first started doing the Tomb Raider reboot. And it was like, man, this game did not do well. It only sold like 5 million copies. And people were like, what? Like, only 5 million copies?
I think the two things that but Square had a triple whammy that just didn't do well. They had FF7 Rebirth, didn't do hot. FF7 16 didn't do that great.
Yeah. And that was enough for them to be like, we don't want to do projections.
Yeah. And then the other one is their new expansion, FF14 Online, Dawn Trail, did not meet expectations with fans. People start unsubbing. And I know it's bad because I play that game. I put 4,000 or 5,000 hours in that game. And when I'm playing that game, right, there's the housing market and all that. And when I'm seeing houses available, like housing, like basically there's no instance for housing. Everyone can go into your house kind of thing. Like everyone sees your house and there's plots of land. They're Nothing is
rob
ever
people?
available. You can't rob people, no. But nothing is ever available. So if a medium to a large houses are available, that means guilds are just not playing anymore. No one's even logging in.
Damn.
And that's where I'm seeing all over the place. There was
So what, if you
large
have
houses available.
So that definitely means that people are unsubscribing, or is there like a
Yeah,
time
they're just not
period
subbing
where
again.
okay,
They're just not playing.
Gotcha.
And
So you lose your house.
people
if
would
your
normally
sub
like,
lapses.
oh, let me sub real quick so I don't lose my house.
Okay.
You have 60 days.
Okay.
And that means they haven't even been doing that.
Damn,
Mm-hmm.
that's rough.
And I'm talking about guilds too. Like it doesn't have to be one particular person.
It's just
Anyone in the
entire
guild.
groups of people that own
Entire
this
groups are
house.
not playing. Yes.
That's rough. And this
Yep.
was like before they start, because now their whole thing is like, well, we're embracing multi-platform again, because they went through a time period of being PlayStation
Well,
exclusive.
no, they did that after because Dawn Trail
Yeah.
did not do that hot.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That this was them doing multi-plat stuff now is in response to that triple whammy that you were just talking about, right?
It was a triple whammy.
Yeah.
Three different games did not do that well.
Right.
They put FS. Did they put Rebirth on Xbox yet? I don't even know.
No,
but I know
Rebirth,
they put Rebirth on PC.
I think Final Fantasy VII. It might be Rebirth. One of the games is coming to Xbox the same day that it's coming to Switch 2. The same day that Remake specifically is coming to Switch 2. That might be Remake. I don't know if Remake is on Xbox or not.
Oh, Remake is coming to Xbox.
Okay, so that's what it is.
Remake's
Yeah.
coming.
Because I know that they confirmed that. I know that they confirmed that they're coming out on the same day. So
They had that, and they put 14 on Xbox. And I know Yoshi P is in talks with trying to get 14 on the Switch. Wants to get 14 on the Switch. He wants it on there.
which that makes sense. That
Makes sense, yeah.
I think every Japanese studio, at the very least, and it was also, and I don't know how much stake we should put in this, even though it makes sense to me personally. I've been banging this drum for a long time, but there's also been talks that because of a lot of the moves that Xbox is making, Rockstar is seriously considering putting GTA 6 on Switch to kind of make up for the loss that they're assuming that they'll make for Xbox not having as many users as they anticipated having when they started making the video game. So,
It makes sense. And also if they're going to be developing for the Series S at that point too, in mind, might as well just do it for the Switch.
yeah, I agree. Especially if the game is at 30. Because the thing is like,
But yeah, it's 30 FPS.
yeah, like it runs at 30 on everything, right? Like I don't even know if we know that it runs on 30 on on 60, at 60 on PlayStation 5 Pro, right?
No, it's
I don't
30.
know if they confirmed
I think
that.
it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
30.
So that makes sense because we'll get into it. We'll get into it later, but it sounds like the biggest limiting factor in terms of like what resolution a game can run at is, or vice versa. The frame rate is the biggest resolution. I mean, the biggest factor, because the amount of time that it takes for the game to process the upscaling is like, I don't know, I think they said it was like 18 milliseconds or something like that. So it nets out that most of the games that we see that are 4K on Switch end up being 30 frames per second because DLSS, the way that it works, the full DLSS it's not fast enough to justify a stable 60. But the last game, and we can fully move into that, I guess, since we already started talking about it, or I hinted at it. Mina. Is it Mina or Mina?
Mina, I think it's called Mina the Hollower.
Mina the
I think.
Hollower. Shovel Knight. Yacht Club
Have you
games.
tried this game yet?
Yes.
Have you played it?
I played the demo, but it's like there's too many games to play.
I played it at PAX. When we went.
Mhm.
And,
Do you like it?
That was it. I like this type of game. I like these type of
Yeah,
games.
I like these games too. Like I said, I've been playing it.
It was
on,
really cool.
I've been trying to get through the demo on Switch 2, but every time I start playing the demo, something else happens. Like I picked up the demo, and then I convinced myself to get Street Fighter 6, so I dropped the demo. And then I was like, oh, let me go into this demo again, and then Hollow Knight came out. And I thought about getting the demo. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get Hades 2. So now I don't know if I think I'm probably gonna eventually just buy the game, and hopefully I get to it. But so far, something else has always supplanted it for me.
I I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the demo on the Switch yet. I played a bit of the demo at E3. What's her name? Was at the booth.
Celia.
Yes, her. She was at the booth. Very nice. I played a bit. It was awesome, but I didn't play that much of it. I wish I played a bit more.
It's a decent game. There's too many games though. Well, it's a decent game based off of what I've played so far. But
some could say the market's getting a bit saturated.
It absolutely 100% it is. But
there's
also,
indie games coming out all the time that are decent too, or really good. Then you got triple A's releasing game. There's a lot of crap coming out.
There's a bunch, and I don't know. It feels like, so the thing is, I think that that's a good thing in regards to like as far as like the amount of consumers. Games. Yes, exactly, because that's
great for consumers.
That's the main thing that stops like Xbox, for instance, from like being an actual monopoly, because it's easy to be like, oh, well, I'm just not going to freaking go to you. You know, the people that have an Xbox are kind of screwed, you know, but
dude, they're
already in the minority.
Crash and burn,
so I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I don't think it'll ever happen, but I want them to crash and burn.
Xbox might crash and burn.
Like, can you imagine a world where Windows isn't like, you don't need it anymore to play games? You know how amazing that would be?
I'm already living in that world, man. I'm already there.
I mean, technically, yeah. I'm very like, I like to build my shit kind of thing. Like, can't wait. I'm probably going to wind up doing another build very soon. I'm very excited to
go to Linux, build a Linux.
I would like to go to Linux, dude. But like, Linux has its problems too, but it's not as bad as bro, Windows is you know what happened with Windows like last month? Like during in August? I'm thinking it's last month. There was a Windows update that broke your hard drive. It basically bricked it, made it fucking useless.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Okay, you update your PC. Oh, congratulations, your computer. You lost all your data. You know what happened to me? I lost all my Photoshop data, all of it, gone. All my Adobe stuff gone.
It didn't sync to the cloud.
No, it just deleted it all. I don't know what happened.
That's so dumb. That's right.
I was so mad. It probably also because like I had I stopped paying for Adobe.
Okay, that's why I didn't go to cloud.
Right, so they didn't sync to the cloud. They didn't sync to the cloud. Nothing was getting synced, but I had all my files still. Right, I had all my files. I saved.
Right.
Out of nowhere, random stuff on my computer was just gone. I'm like, what? I'm looking through it, and I had a really bad blue screen, like bad, couple of like 3 of them, and I fixed it. I did a Windows restore point. I lost all my stuff. I'm so mad about it. I had the videos projects I had were done, but I had a lot of Photoshop stuff that made Photoshop very easy. So I don't have to keep like redoing certain assets or templates.
Yeah,
it was just there. Now it's gone. I have to redo everything.
I literally have a thumbnail file, and I don't even do like. There was a while where I did thumbnail templates where it was like branded templates or whatever. I don't even do that anymore, but I'll make thumbnails and then I'll just keep the project because I might copy and paste different elements from the thumbnail and stuff like that.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It makes it easier. It's like you're not always re-downloading the same stuff. It's just there.
Right. Yeah, that sucks. I think that it's just more and more becoming a caricature of like the reasons why I hate Windows to begin with, because for me it was like I don't want to deal with blue screens. I hate the concept of like an error happening, and like for the platform that people are like, well, you can fix anything on this platform. The way that they communicate issues to you is something went wrong, sad face. That's ridiculous. You can't tell me anything else. You don't got any other types of information so that I can try to solve this problem.
Wait. It does. It 100% gives you the information what went wrong, but it lasts 2 seconds. So you're like trying to get your phone out and trying to like take the QR code, and you're like, fuck, and it's gone. No, and it's gone.
I hate that with a burning passion. So yeah, I feel your pain. I felt it for years. That's why I'm out. That's why I was like, nope, can't do that. Goodbye. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I too wish that Microsoft will crash and burn, but
Wanted to crash and burn.
I'm resigned to the fact that
Goddamn
that is a multi-trillion dollar corporation, and it would
Well,
take
honestly,
it would take a lot of
companies,
bad decisions for
a
them
lot
to.
of these companies, like Microsoft, like yeah, they're worth a lot, and a lot of it is due to AI at the moment. But they're in a
Yes.
bubble right now.
Yes.
It's
100%.
100%. We're in an AI bubble. It is
Yeah.
going to pop. Only certain companies are going to survive. Microsoft probably being one of them, but to my detriment because I really don't want them to.
Yeah, I mean, it's really down the cash on hand, to be honest.
And
It's
I wouldn't be like, oh, all those people are going to lose their job. They're already looking to replace people anyway.
Right.
So like, screw them, get rid of them. Let's get something else.
Yeah, I'm down.
I canceled Game Pass when they laid off all those people. I stopped paying. Like they're like they want to replace people with AI and all this other stuff. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not supporting. I don't even care if it's a hopeless protest. I'm just not giving them my money.
Yeah, I feel that. I stopped again because of the BDS list. I saw that and I was like, and I am a proponent of the quality. I still think Game Pass is quality. That is a good service. But I think that with a $30 price increase, that makes it a little harder to argue that, on top of the fact that it's active. Like, actually, I don't even mean in the gamer sense. Microsoft is actually an evil corporation. They are evil, you know, objectively evil. So yeah, I agree. I want them to crash and burn too, but it's probably not going to happen, unfortunately.
You know, this is a great segue to our next topic.
Yeah, the generative AI thing. And also, I mean, it plays into kind of what I was talking about, the gamer thing, because it's like, it's so weird, like the volleyball, like the volley that we have in terms of like gaming discourse. Because one week we have people being like, I hate how litigious Nintendo is. And then the next week, people are like, please sue these people that are doing something that I don't like. But there is word that Nintendo is working with the Japanese government to crack down on generative AI specifically, because like, and it's an important distinction, because a lot of people are, I hate AI, and then it's like, and then at the same time they're like, yo, DLSS is so great. It's like, well, that's AI too, but it's not generative AI. Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about generative AI.
Yeah, so
your ChatGPTs and you're generating your dumb Sora videos and
exactly
Google
like
Gemini.
all the Nintendo videos that you're seeing now with like Sora 2 and all the other kind of crap is direct.
It makes sense too, because like if they started like in the US as of right now, if you were to use AI in your code, you can argue now, oh, this is free domain.
Yeah, right.
I don't, even if this is your IP, this particular game
you put it on the internet, we got it from the internet, blah blah blah, yeah, all that kind of crap
is now free domain. That's companies should like. It's also other companies too are finding security risks by using just AI, because AI leaves holes in it. It's just literally regurgitating what other people have done.
Yes, and worse.
Worse, exactly. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, it's just a tool that, like, in mass does what companies that care about their IP were trying to fight anyway on a smaller scale. It just makes it easier to do in mass. Like, it's no different than somebody being like, well, I'm going to make a video about of Mario Goatsy or whatever. That's no different.
Well, they're doing video, like AI videos of SpongeBob getting pulled over by the cops. So they're gonna start doing that probably with Mario too, and all the.
They're already doing stuff like that. Exactly. Yeah, and that's why Nintendo's like, nah, nope, nope, we're fighting that. So
and then it's no good. It's also like it's just. I said this a while ago. There's going to be a crazy fight at some point. I don't know when. It might be sooner now rather than later, but there's going to be a monumental fight between copyright and AI. It's going to happen. It's going to be a really crazy one.
Yeah. And I mean, if history serves, I think the copyright's going to win. I think is Disney mad at AI yet? Once Disney gets mad at AI, it's over. It's GG's for AI.
Disney, I have no idea. I think Disney
because they're the bastions of copyright law. They're like every substantial copyright law that has like protects the owner of the thing is directly linked to Disney for like the past like 100 years.
So what people are doing right now, like people who really don't like generative AI, they're using generative AI to generate Peter Griffin, everybody from Disney, just Disney specifically, and then just making it float around the internet.
Because they're trying, they're trying to get Disney mad to do something about it.
And then they make sure, the AI that they're using is tagged, like it's the watermarked.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, any point in the store? Yeah, hopefully. Me personally, I am fine with IP. I think IP is good for people from small to big. It favors big because they have more money. But if you're small and you make a thing, you can make a thing that becomes big. We've seen it. We've seen it multiple times. Minecraft didn't exist 50 years ago. But now it's one of the best, if not arguably the best-selling video game of all time. And it was an indie game.
I think it is now.
It's like it always goes back and forth between that and GTA 5. So I don't know for sure. But either way, and even like the example before that, the literal most valuable media property is Pokemon. And Pokemon is 30 years old, less than 30 years old by a little bit.
For me, I think there's like in terms of like actual IP, I'm in favor of. But in terms of like copywriting certain things, I'm not in favor. Like, I don't like what Warner Brothers did, for example, with copywriting. Was it Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor?
Oh, you're talking about the Nemesis. So that's the thing about it, right? I think it depends on how they do it and what they do. Because the controversy with like the Pokemon thing, for instance, because that's something that I can verify is like, y'all are overreacting to this. Because it's a game that I play and I see the comparison and I see that this is a one-to-one, like y'all copied this mechanic, not the idea of the mechanic, not the like, not the like more abstract thing. Y'all literally said, we're going to use the same button, the same animation, the same purpose, all that from top to bottom, right? I can't say the same thing for the Nemesis thing. But when it is like with very vague terms of like, you shouldn't be able to have AI or, NPCs, that become your rival or whatever in this broad way. I think that that is a valid thing to be angry about. But I think a lot of times the gaming controversies that sprout up around patents, and it's usually with the bigger companies, because like most of the time these companies are not like, their business isn't what gamers pretend that it is, where it's like they're being copyright trolls. Most of these companies use their copyrights defensively. Like Pokemon is not going to go after random modder kid and say, here's this $5 million lawsuit. You use this very obscure mechanic or whatever in the thing. It's usually going to be, if a thing gets big enough where it becomes a risk to them dealing with issues like this.
Do you know? I don't know, because that's why I'm asking. For like Pokemon, for example, I know they were suing Palworld over being able to use like captured monsters versus other captured monsters or whatever. Is that what that was? I could be wrong. So I don't know.
So their case is, it's more of an angle of attack than it is like specifically what the suit is about. The suit is about what everybody assumed the suit would be about when the game came out. Because if you remember, most people, when the game got revealed and came out, people were like, this is just Pokemon. It's just Pokemon, but with guns, right? So
it's Ark survival Pokemon.
Exactly. So Pokemon sees that and they're like, all right, what's the best way that we can deal with this? Because it's hard to argue that in the court of law. It's hard to argue the intangibles that like us as gamers see and be like, well, this. So a good example is like, people will bring up the Ark thing where it's like, well, the gameplay of Palworld is not the same gameplay as Pokemon, but the IP of Pokemon entails more than the video games of Pokemon. The same
No,
things that
it's the characters. That's the draw.
it's the
It's
world,
the
it's
the world,
everything.
the
So
characters.
the theming, the things that happen in all of the other mediums. So like when I'm flying on a, I don't even remember the name of the PAL, but when I'm flying on a fake copyright safe, quote unquote, I guess question mark, I don't know if it's copyright safe, Charizard. To me, I'm just flying on a Charizard, you know, and that's not something that I can do in any Pokemon game in that same way. But it's very easily traced back to the IP a long time ago because Ash was flying on Charizard in that same way with those same animations in 1996. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or in 1998,
in
more
the show.
accurately. Right, exactly. In the show and other games that are not specifically the RPGs and that kind of thing. So like they're trying to just argue that with terms that are easier for them to attack. It's basically a straw man. It's a legal straw man because that's the system that we're in terms of like how the law works. Of them being like, well, we want to get you on this more abstract thing, and our plan of attack is to do this very specific thing. And patents are usually hyper specific. It's not just like you are making a monster collector. It's you, like the mechanic you brought up with the catching thing. It's like you are very specifically using a character that aims their reticle with this button and they ready a ball and they aim the ball at the creature and the ball opens up and there's a meter on the ball and it shakes a certain amount of times and then you catch it and then it gets registered in this way. Like that's how patents are. Like if you look at the most recent patent that had gamers up in arms, like there's literally like a chain of command of what they are trying to patent. Whereas like, you as a character engage with a non-controllable NPC that is a creature that you want to throw out of their Pokeball, and like literally all of that is described in the patent. But a lot of the like discourse will dilute that to being like, oh, we can't summon creatures,
Use
and
summons
it's like that's not
creatures.
what the patent says. That's not what the patent says at all. The patent says
I was gonna say, like, if that's it, okay. But what about Final Fantasy? Huh?
Yeah,
I can't
exactly.
use. You know what I mean?
The
Final
patent
Fantasy
is
does
saying
summons.
the patent is saying if you want to copy Pokemon, you got to be a lot more clever than saying it's not a Pokeball, it's a Pal Sphere. You know, it's like you got to do more than that. You got to actually create your own thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's funny whenever people talk about that kind of thing where it's like these sorts of lawsuits hinder creativity, and it's like no, it doesn't. It kind of, and sometimes it does. Sometimes there are copyright and patent trolls and stuff like that, but more often than not, it forces creativity because it doesn't allow you to just do the thing that you like from the other
You
guy
can't just copy
and
the homework.
expand on their homework. Exactly. Like being like, I'm just literally going to make a Pokemon game. And instead of it being a Pokemon game like normal, it's edgy this time. It uses all the same characters, the same mechanics, the same worlds, the same character. I mean, the same storylines and stuff like that. But this time they say, fuck sometimes. You know, it's like, all right, bro. But again, that's not to say that all of these things are used well. Like sometimes there are nefarious parties and stuff like that. But I think more often than not, in the cases that we know of, because there could be choke orders and stuff like that, which happens. But the ones that we know of because of the fact that they were like, yeah, you can say that we gave you a cease and desist for making a freaking adult themed party for our game that's meant to be played by 8-year-olds. Sure, tell the world about that. Why not? But there's been cases of like Sega, for instance, suing people for infringing on their copyright, and they made them not say anything. They had to sign NDAs and stuff like that. So
Goddamn.
that's another thing that's not brought up in these sorts of conversations when gamers are trying to get a narrative off. I say all that to say I'm in support of them going after AI because I think it would be better for us overall as people that enjoy high quality things.
I listen. I want them to take down the fucking generative AI. It's so bad. Okay,
Yeah,
some of this
it's very
stuff, it not only that, it's threatening so many different jobs, and it's just stealing. It's just straight up copying people's stuff. You know,
Yeah,
there's no skill involved. I'm in support.
I'm here for it.
This is
Yeah.
one time I'm here for it. If Nintendo's going to take some legal action, I'm like, thank God it's towards something that might help everybody. You know.
Yep. It's all a snowball effect, because if they don't go after the freaking another Metroid 2 remakes, then in court when they're going after the AI guy, they say, "Well, you let that dude do it," and then the court's going to be like, "Well, yeah, you did let the other guy just take your IP. Why can't they take your IP too now?" You know, that's
So
just
it's
how
the one time.
that's how
It's the
legal
one
precedent
time
works.
that Nintendo. Yeah, dude, I get it.
So
It's also I would have argued too. You didn't also have a machine that can potentially copy every little thing about your game.
right, but in this regard, that
Oh,
doesn't
I
really
get it.
matter. Yeah, like the
Yeah,
way that you do
I
it
get
is
it.
not important. It's the action that matters to copyright law. You know, it's like, well, you let them copy it. I don't really care how they copied it. They copied it, and you were cool with them. So these people, you got to be cool with them too. You know, there's not really
You
a
would have to.
clause.
I think it'd be different if Nintendo gave them permission. Like you can. I don't know if it would be able to be like because they would still be in control of their IP in a way, right? If Nintendo did give like
It
permission.
depends on how the permission works, right? Because like there's absolutely times where either they plead ignorance, which happens with most ROM hacks. Most ROM hacks, I guarantee you, somebody within Nintendo knows about, and they're like, we can plausibly say that we don't know that this exists. So in the scenario where somebody tries to argue that we let these hundreds of thousands of ROMs slide, we can say, well, that ROM has like 5,000 downloads. How are we supposed to know about that? But when there's one that got 10 million downloads and everybody on social media and IGN and YouTuber A, B, C, and D are all talking about how this is a way better game than Pokemon,
They don't have.
they have
Yeah.
to act on that. They have to, unless somehow copyright law changes. That's the only way that it's like a legitimate argument to be like, well, you got to let the little guy slide. That's not how copyright law in general, not even just copyright law. Precedent is a hell of a drug. You know what I mean? It's like if you let one thing happen, that changes everything.
It's a domino effect after that.
Yeah. So it's just like, man, while it's like it feels good to have that kind of bend to it, or it's like, well, that's a feel good story. I feel good about that guy making a living off of doing this way or whatever, right? That's not how the law sees it, and that's the problem. Just like a lot of the other things, a lot of other stuff that we're talking about in this era of like, well, yeah, it sucks that insert Nintendo thing costs insert amount of money, but that's everything. It's everything, and they don't exist to empathize with us in that way.
Dude, the thing I'm not worried about the game. Like, yeah, game prices going up sucks. It sucks. The thing
Yeah.
I'm worried about, my grocery bill is insane.
Yes.
That's the thing I care about.
And that's
bro.
the thing that people should actually be mad about. But gamers like being like having this facade of being apolitical. They don't want to actually address and talk about the the root of the problem, because they ain't got to get political. It's not political to be mad at Nintendo.
Dude, I went to
or Xbox
freaking,
or PlayStation.
I'm going to the grocery store to get food for the week for two people, and I'm spending like almost $400. I'm like, what?
Oof. Yeah.
That's insane. And I don't make I make maybe double that on a good week. That's too much. I can't afford
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then what happens to me is that's like I call it extra funds or leakage funds, like whatever's left over in the week. Like at that point, I'm going to save it and hopefully it's in case of a rainy day. If I had extra funds, then I'd be buying more games. But at this point, I can't.
And that's what everybody's doing. Like that's what's happening with everybody. Everybody is like making like, it's the case for everybody, including people like us, where like we have a vested interest in buying games a lot of the times. Like me, I would have been like just off rip 9 times out of 10, if I have any level of interest as somebody that can like recoup at least a little bit of every game that I play by talking about it on the internet, I still am like, nah, I'm not going to play Ghost of Yotei because I know I'm not going to touch that game. So that's just money that I don't have to spend. And Mario Galaxy, I want to play Mario Galaxy. I'm going to play it eventually, but it's not worth buying until the amiibo come out, because then it's like, well, the amiibo are here and I can talk about everything new
have
and all that
Galaxy.
kind of stuff.
It runs in 4K Galaxy now.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
4K.
That would be like the only use case, but at this point, I have it on that dumb collection they released for a limited
Yeah, but what
time.
about Galaxy 2 and the Rosalina storybook? Let's go! And if you play in multiplayer, you get the mouse mode.
That's cool, but still, I don't know, dude. I don't. It's not on the
I'm with
top of
you.
my
Again,
list.
I'm with you. I didn't purchase it yet. I do want to, like I said, I want to eventually get it, but they didn't give you every new content thing. So to me, it's like I would only be buying it for Galaxy 2. And I would, in another world, I would buy Galaxy 2 separately. But I also want Galaxy 1, and I don't want to spend more money later to have both of them. You know what I mean? So it's like,
True. Yeah.
that kind of thing. If games were a little cheaper, then I can justify being frivolous in that way. But they're not. And me, the way that I work, I'd rather be mad at the reason why that is than try to like offset some of that anger to a party that I think might be more reasonable, or that I think that it's more accurate, or not accurate, more less political to be mad about. You know, like if I say like the orange
I'm
man with
mad
these
that it
tariffs.
costs too much to be alive, bro. Okay?
Yes.
It's cost too much.
Absolutely, 100%. And I wish that.
I mean, granted, I live in one of the most expensive cities, but still,
That's
it's
also true.
I lived in
$400 for
for
groceries for 2 people is crazy. That's crazy. It doesn't
I've
matter where
never
you're
spent
at.
that much ever in my
Yeah,
life in
it doesn't
groceries.
matter where
ever,
you're at.
ever, dude. The most I've ever spent, I remember, I would say, what 2018. Groceries were a bit high. I spent 150 for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was expensive. I thought,
Yeah.
like, oh god, $150. It's crazy.
Now you're like, I wish. that
I
this was
wish, dude. Can we go
$150.
back? Can I go
Yeah.
back? It's $150, and there wasn't even that many years. It's not like, oh, in 2000 it was $100. No, it was like 5-6 years ago, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm getting tired. I'm getting upset. Getting upset.
Rightfully so. I mean, this is not a good transition, but the last thing we got to talk about is DLSS. Digital
okay.
Foundry. They dove into how exactly DLSS works on the Nintendo Switch 2 as far as we know it. And apparently there are 2 separate DLSS variants for Nintendo Switch 2. The gist is, so you remember a while back there was a patent that Nintendo did for their version, like they had their own version of DLSS.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Now we know what that is, and it's essentially like it's just a lighter DLSS. Where what I was talking about earlier is like there's like it costs time essentially for processing to add DLSS when you're making the video game, and that impacts how the game can run. With Nintendo's DLSS, it's lighter, so it doesn't have as big of a load when you incorporate it, but it's not as thorough. So it like, at least for right now, and the games that they tested, it's not as good. It doesn't do as good of a job at preserving the quality of the image when it upscales it as regular DLSS. But they're able to use it for higher resolutions than regular DLSS is.
Mm-hmm.
Is the
okay.
gist of the comparison.
I know with PC DLSS, if roughly, like sometimes it makes the image just look sharper, even without the upscaling portion.
Right.
And or it does upscale it, but it's like a near to near resolution.
It's not like a
really
10x thing or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there are ones where you can multiply the it's upscaling from a lower resolution to get your frame rates higher.
Right.
But it's a wide freaking range, and I think consoles have not as wide, but there's a range. Like PS5 has somewhat of a range. They have their own DLSS.
Mhm.
I can see Nintendo going a little bit less with it because it would be too much for that console. I feel like the thing would go on fire if they tried.
It sounds like the range is pretty wide in terms of
Is
like, yeah, like what they internally render the game at. It's like, I think a lot of them, they quote at like 460p or something like that. And they upres them to like, I think Street Fighter is an example of a game that renders at a pretty low resolution and then they upscale it. But Street Fighter is one of the examples that's 1080p, I believe. You can Is it 1080p? Now I gotta look that up. I think it's 1080p 60. I think that's what Street Fighter 2 is. Now I gotta look it up. But most of the games that
they have two different DLSSs.
Yes.
I'm reading. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have two different ones.
Yeah.
They have Nintendo's proprietary one, and then they have the regular ass PC DLSS, and that's the one that the studios like. I think Split Fiction as an example. That's like a game. I think they use the regular PC DLSS, and that's why that game runs at 30 on Switch too, because it costs too much. They can't do, and I don't mean financially. So they can't run the game as quickly in terms of frame rate because the amount of time that it takes to implement the DLSS is too high for them to be able to hit the frame target.
Okay. Yeah, I'm reading this now, and it says like there's two types, much like CNN presets on PC. And one of the presets that are roughly half the cost in terms of frame rates, the frame time, than the CNN model. This cheaper model of DLSS is newer, and in their experience, it causes image quality to have characteristics where it suffers in movement, but it does look sharper. Mm-hmm. And I can see it. Isn't certain games have like a ghosting effect kind of thing? That can be.
I think the ghosting effect that people are talking about is more to do with the screen itself. Like, okay, I don't think the ghosting effect that you're thinking about is like that's not present when you're playing docked. It's only for handheld.
Yeah, so it's probably a screen issue.
And it sounds like it's a software-based screen issue. Just based, and this is a different conversation entirely. This has nothing to do with the DLSS, but it sounds like the screen itself is a good quality, but something about their software is not calibrated right or something. I don't know. We might eventually see it.
So I remember from what Bob was saying. Bob said, and I forget where he heard it, and I think he was just testing things out on his end. There's no variable refresh rate on the freaking thing. It doesn't really. Maybe the dock itself doesn't support it, and maybe the dock is having a harder time.
Doesn't support it. The dock doesn't support it, and a lot of games don't use it. But there's definitely variable refresh rate on the handheld itself. Like you could see it in Donkey Kong Bonanza for sure. I don't know how much Donkey Kong Bonanza you've played handheld, but that definitely is on in handheld because Donkey Kong Bonanza is one of the few games that I've been playing my Switch 2 handheld more than I played my original Switch handheld. But Donkey Kong Bonanza is just a better game handheld, I think. It's just a better game.
I like playing on both. I like playing both.
It's it's fine on desktop. Desktop. It's fine docked, but the frame rate drops are more noticeable when you're playing docked than they are handheld, in my experience.
I wonder
especially towards the end of the game. Like when you're I'm playing the DLC right now. And there's a lot of when you're in the higher levels of the DLC and you're getting all these extra multipliers and stuff like that, the particle effects go all nuts, and the frame rate takes a hit.
I mean, I definitely seen frame rates taking a hit at the end of the game, 100%. I'm not gonna. I don't know if it's probably still in spoiler territory type of stuff, but yeah, I've definitely seen the frame rate drop at the end. 100%.
And I don't think it's not unplayable, but it's noticeable for sure is the thing. And it's if you can choose.
There was also a certain portion of the game
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep. Where the frames dropped and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. It wasn't like DK wasn't moving. DK movements were fine. Was the background or the attacks themselves coming in at you at 10 FPS. It looked like whoa.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the worst part I've ever seen.
You're talking about I don't want to specify too much, but the hands, are we thinking hands? The hands coming at you?
The hands and mud walls.
Yes.
And the mud walls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. I played that handheld. So I can't really speak to how bad it gets because for me, like frame drops happened and I noticed it, but it was like a regular, it was like the frame rate drop in Breath of the Wild where beforehand people were like, this game goes below 30 sometimes. You know, it wasn't like this game runs poorly. You know, that's what my experience was for Donkey Kong. And
a game running poorly, what you don't want in a game is you don't want bad stutters. You
Yeah.
don't want a frame dips of like if you like me, I play on PC, right? I like to have really high frame rates. I'll try to uncap it as much as possible, but sometimes I'll go from like 200 frames to 60 to 70. And sometimes when that happens, the game stutters, and you don't want that.
Exactly.
So if you're having really bad stutters, I lock the frame rates up at like 120.
Yeah.
And I won't get that bad of a stutter. So like if you're going from 60 to like 30 sometimes, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But if you're going from really high to really low, you get a stutter.
Yeah, exactly. And it also was like, so for Donkey Kong, at least in my experience, I don't know if it's different for you. But Donkey Kong for me, it's like I wouldn't characterize that game as a game that runs bad at all, right?
I think the game ran
because like there are instances in the same way, like Breath of the Wild. I wouldn't, even before the Switch 2 edition and stuff, I would never describe that game as a game that runs poorly. But there are parts of the game that, like if you go into the Kakariko Forest or whatever, where the Master Sword,
the Lost Woods,
yeah, Lost Wood, you go in there, there's a frame rate drop and it's noticeable. But it only happens in that very specific instance. More often than not, more often than not, if the frame rate is noticeable to normal people, they're able to say, man, when frame rate drops were called slowdown, that's when it's bad. That's when it's like, this is like genuinely, I wouldn't be mad at somebody being like, this game is unplayable. Because if Joe
That's what it was happening to me.
Recognizes it. It's bad.
That's what was happening to me in Elden Ring. That's why I had to finish it on my. I had to start a whole new game on my PlayStation because it was.
You started over.
I started over. It was that.
How far did you get
through it? Almost the end.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I love that game so much. I was like, "Yep, I will play this again." I was pissed, I was livid, but I did it again. I would never
play the game again.
But what was happening was, so it would dip to where the character almost seemed like they stopped, like time froze, and then to catch up to where I am in the game would go into fast forward mode.
Right.
And I'd just be dead because in that game you need to dodge at perfect frames.
Yeah, your timing matters. Frame rate, absolutely, a stable frame rate absolutely matters in that video.
It matters.
For sure.
I was livid.
I'd be angry too. But I don't think that there's anything else. I think we pretty thoroughly covered all the things. I mean, I guess we could talk about, have you played the Donkey Kong DLC at all? I wanted to.
No.
I rolled credits the first time. I'm not fully done yet. But I've been having fun with it. I like the DLC a lot, personally.
I might play it more later, like when I get more free time.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I feel like I got what I wanted out of Donkey Kong, and I'm not looking to get the DLC as of right now.
So Donkey
Maybe
Kong
later.
for me, when I finished Donkey Kong, I was like, I want more of this video game. Like I've just been having fun. Just if it's to me, it's like whenever I see Warriors games announced, I'm angry. I'm like, these games suck. I hate them. But this game makes me understand what Warriors games are trying to do. Or it's just the like brain off, mow through thing satisfaction of it all. But in this game, it does a good job at making you feel like you're being rewarded for doing that thing, and the reward isn't the dopamine of the thing being mowed through. It's like when I'm playing the Emerald Rush mode, I'm working towards my completion progress, whereas before it would be like something that I got to go out of my way and grind for. Like I'm like, oh man, I got to redeem these Banandium chips or whatever, right? So I got to grind out some gold. And that isn't something that's like a fun task to do. This gives you a fun task that can help you grind out the things to get the completion thing. Where it's like, where traditionally I wouldn't go for a 100% because the experience of doing the thing that you need to do to make that go up isn't the
It's
fun
not
of
the
the
best.
game, you know?
Yeah.
That's what this DLC did for me, where it's like it actively made making the completion percentage go up fun. And it's not because I'm not just doing it just to be able to say I did it. I'm doing it because it's a fun thing to do. Like the way I've been doing is like before I go to sleep every night, I'm like, all right, let me do a run. Let me see if I can clear this difficulty level of the thing, and then I might be like, I might be tight where it's like, I was like freaking 100 emerald away from clearing this level, I'm turning this off. Or sometimes like, one more run. But it's been very similar to Hades, but I like the gameplay more. I mean, I like the gameplay, minute to minute gameplay more than I like the minute to minute gameplay of Hades. So it's like the gameplay loop of Hades in a game that I like the game for more. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's I mean, like with any game, the gameplay loop, if it's something that you genuinely really like and it's fun, you're just gonna keep going. Donkey Kong. I'm not gonna say Donkey Kong. I like the gameplay loop of Donkey Kong, but it's one of those games where I'll put down and then wind up picking back up later,
Right.
kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll wind up having a lot of fun after. But to me, like I get into those really like those modes where I'm playing Donkey Kong now. That's all I'm caring about is my Nintendo Switch. I'll play my Switch nonstop, and then I put it down, and I won't touch my Switch for like a month or two, and I'm just playing PC games nonstop. That's just how.
That's fair. I think I don't have that because I am obviously funneled into playing my Switch more for the fact that I have a Nintendo channel. And because of that, I don't really get into those things where it's kind of opposite for me, where it's like I have to force myself to play my other stuff. And on the original Switch, especially towards the tail end, I would be like, well, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get Marvel Rivals and I'm going to play it on my PlayStation because I usually play Monster Hunter on my Xbox. So I would try to play a little bit of everything on everything. But now I'm just like, well, I'm just here.
Drive me crazy.
That's just how, that's what I do, man. Or that's what I did.
Like the Switch is perfect for me because it's this little handheld thing. It's easy to hook up. I can bring it wherever the hell I want. Okay. I hate my PlayStation. I don't touch it. I stomach my PC, even though I love it and put it together. I stomach it because it has Windows. If it didn't have Windows, it'd be my go-to.
Yo, go to Linux, man. Go to Linux.
I might. My next PC build might be a Linux build. Then I haven't bought an Xbox since 2014.
Oof. I've had
years.
both of them since I'm just the type of person like throughout my whole entire life, and this has been I've been doomed since childhood because I was born with I have multiple older siblings. There's always been every console in the house since I was born. So
I was that older sibling.
That's the thing that's just it just feels normal for me to be like, well, I gotta get the other thing. Because if I don't get the other thing, then like, what if a new Sly Cooper comes out? I gotta play that, and I want to play Gears, and I want to be able to play Mario, and I don't want to. Well, I don't like having the moment where it's like, oh, a game that I want came out, and I want to get the console, and then it might be like when PlayStation 5 came out, right? When that first came out, I was like, I want to get the console for Ratchet and Clank because that was the only game that got confirmed that I had any interest, and Spider-Man, that I had any interest in. But that was also coming to PlayStation 4, so really just Ratchet and Clank. And then when that time came for me to do it, there was no stock. So I'm like, well, if I just bought this at launch, it would have been way easier. It would have been so much easier for me to just use an in day one to get a pre-order than freaking 3 months into its life and it being out of stock everywhere. So I like having the peace of mind of always having the thing.
The only thing for me now would be like if I want to play it day one or do I want to wait? Because those games, every game I think you mentioned came out to PC. Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man.
That's never a consideration for me because I don't play on PC.
That's for me. It is it is.
That's fair.
But the only reason the only reason I have a PlayStation is because of the exclusives. Xbox, I gave up on it because
you have a PC and all the games come to PC.
I have a PC. It literally all those games are on PC anyway.
Right.
There's no point.
And that PlayStation's inching towards that right now. They're doing the like limited exclusivity thing for right now, but who knows if they're going to continue to do that for that long. Really just
I have no
depends on the
idea.
PlayStation audience.
Didn't they make didn't they make the most amount of money they did on any console on the PS5? I feel like they reported
Yes.
that.
Yes.
They did.
PlayStation 5 is the most successful PlayStation, but you also got to keep in mind, like, it's also the most expensive PlayStation. And so it's like, yeah, they made the most
What about
money.
the software sales? PlayStation, let's see that.
Their software sales aren't that good historically. Like, their software sales are good now, but on PlayStation 2 they weren't good because people weren't buying a PlayStation 2 to play games. Obviously people did, but most people bought PlayStation 2s to play DVDs, you know.
That's how I convinced my parents.
Yeah, it's a DVD
Dad,
player,
listen.
man.
Dad, like, look, we can have Madden. Oh no, he was playing NHL at the time or whatever. I'm like, we can have NHL and a DVD player for this amount. He's like, you don't know what you're talking. I'm like, no, Dad, look. And
do you want to spend $300 just for a DVD player, or $200 for a DVD player that plays
and
freaking
a
Crash
game
Bandicoot?
system?
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "You're right," and he bought it right then and there.
Yeah, that's
He
what
was
I mean.
like, "Where? What? Oh, I was in Toys R Us. I remember because we needed a DVD player too."
I think a
in
lot
Toys
of
R Us.
people had that same exact experience, and the attach rate and the like top selling games on the platform also tells that story, because the fact that the most successful console of all time is the PlayStation 2, but it had no games that sold over 10 million copies, I think is the figure. Maybe I think it's San Andreas maybe did 20, but no Sony games sold near that, right? You look at something like the Nintendo Switch, you got multiple games that sold over 30 million copies. You know what I mean? And the Nintendo Switch didn't sell as much as the PlayStation 2.
A lot of the
because people didn't buy PlayStation 2s to play games.
Yeah, it was mostly DVDs. I mean, I played some PS2 games. Like
Same.
I had some PS2 games that I played.
Right.
But my dad was mostly like buying a lot of the sports games he wanted to play.
Yeah.
The console I bought the most games for at that time was GameCube. That was my shit.
I think
I love my GameCube.
I think that is proof that, and I was just about to say this, we're outliers, because like this is something that I go back and forth with my chat and my comment section, is because I'll be like, well, the average consumer, and then insert stat or behavior or something like that, and they'll be like, well, I buy this game and I play, and I'm like, you're commenting on a YouTube video about a Nintendo Switch game that came out yesterday. You are not the average consumer. Like,
No.
that's not what that means. You know, like if you're engaging, if you're creating content, you're absolutely, even if you're not successful at it, even if it's not your job or anything, you're not the average consumer. But
Honestly,
even if you're consuming and commenting on video game content, you are not the average consumer.
My PlayStation at the time became my Square machine, because those were the games I bought.
It was my Dragon Ball Z machine. That's what I bought.
Too. Yes, Budokai.
Yeah, I bought it for Budokai.
Yeah.
That's why I got my PlayStation
Budokai.
for.
Absolutely.
I remember literally I got a PlayStation 2 for my birthday one year. Well, birthday, Christmas is the same thing for me. My birthday is 2 days after Christmas. And that's all I asked for. I was like, literally all I want for my birthday and Christmas. I don't care. And usually my family's big on holidays and birthdays, so they usually double up. But I was like, that's all I want. And I got to play. And I said, I want Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1, and I want a PlayStation 2. That's all I want. And I got the PlayStation, and they debated me. They had the PlayStation and no game. I was like, yo, where's Dragon Ball Z Budokai? What's up with this? I just asked for Budokai. That's messed up. I can't even play no games on this. They hit Budokai and like closed. Like they
you know what changed my perspective on games though, and I stopped getting GameCube games, was I went to my cousin's house and he was playing Halo 2 online. Oh, I need this. And
you didn't get Final Fantasy online on the GameCube?
No, FF11? No, dude. I didn't even know that existed
Final
at the time.
Fantasy Star. That's what I'm thinking of. Fantasy Star
on PS2?
Yeah.
Was that on PS2?
I was talking about GameCube. They got that. There's
GameCube, yeah.
There's like
dude,
4 online GameCube games, and that was one of them. That was the only one that I
on
know.
my GameCube, my non-Nintendo game, I think was Resident Evil, because I like, you know, it was only for Nintendo at the time.
Yeah, the game director said he was going to cut his head off or something like that if it ever came to anything else. And now it's on everything.
Yeah. It was RE. I remember playing RE1. Well, my mom tortured me with RE1. She hid all my games and goes, "You're going to play this one today." I'm like, why? And did she just film me getting scared?
That's funny.
Then Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, right? That was on GameCube. I believe so.
I don't know. Baldur's Gate is not my expertise.
It was Dark Alliance, and the only reason I played it is because my cousin forced me to play D&D with him one night. And I'm like, oh, I really enjoyed this. I wonder how the game would be. And I asked for the game. And then Xbox, dude. I just played a lot of Halo 2. Halo 2 was my jam. And then that was when I don't know, 360 was in its golden age in the early days, and then I gave up on it when the Kinect came out.
Yeah.
That's when I bought a PS3.
Crazy how that shift happened.
I bought a PS3. I was like, I'm done with this crap. I bought a PS3 and I enjoyed The Last of Us. And then they released that game 10 times.
I was angry at that. I was mad at that. I'm still mad at
them releasing The Last of Us 10 times.
Yes, yeah. Because like if you look at Naughty Dog's and to be, I made a whole video about this, about like remasters and why some of them make me angry, but other ones don't. I genuinely wanted to understand me better, because usually I try to like go out of my way to not be biased. Like if I like something or don't like something, I need to have a genuine reason, instead of just like, well, I like that logo more or whatever, right? For Naughty Dog, it makes me mad because it's like when I first became a PlayStation fan on PlayStation 1 in my childhood, I loved PlayStation because they had variety. The same way that I love Nintendo because they have variety. But they don't have that variety anymore. And if you look at Naughty Dog, one of the studios that in a lot of ways had a whole lot, you know, it started with Crash Bandicoot, and then they moved on to Jak and Daxter, and then they moved on to Uncharted. And now it's just The Last of Us. Exactly. Them in Insomniac, but now it's just The Last of Us sequel, remake of
also
The Last of Us,
Square
remake of, yeah, that too. That's also true. But yeah, that's just what most of that studio is. Their first new video game is it's still not even out yet. We don't even have a release date, but the Heretic or whatever that game's called, that's their first new game in like 10 plus years. Like, well, 5 years, because The Last of Us 2 came out, and then they remade The Last of Us 1, so
they don't make new IPs.
1. Yeah, exactly. And that's annoying. And the new IPs that they do have, and IGN made an article about this recently, or a video about this recently, where they're like, yo, all their games are about the same thing. Like all their games since COVID, all PlayStation Studio games have been about like, man, I lost one of my family members and I'm angry about it. That's been most of their games. Spider-Man 2, that was Spider-Man 2. It was like, I lost my aunt, I'm angry. And
I lost my kid.
Ghost of Yotei. I'm tight. You killed my. I don't even know what the relationship is because I didn't play the game yet. But somebody died and she's mad, right? God of War Ragnarok. I'm scared I'm going to lose my dad. I'm angry about that. You know, it's like that's all their games. And even if you zoom out a little further, all their games are third-person action games. That's all of them.
I like my third-person action games, but I need something else.
I do too, but give me something else. You know, it's like with Nintendo, it's like you got car races, you got RPGs, you got platformers, you got action games, you got, you know.
Also,
like,
Mario, I feel like Mario's never doing the same thing. It's very rare if he's in a sequel. It's very rare.
Exactly. That's what, like, when people say stuff like, I can't wait for Mario Odyssey 2, I'm like, you think that that's the most likely thing that we're going to get? Like, no. You know what?
Great game, but no.
Ironically, I do think that there's a real chance we might get a Galaxy 3 now. I was before I was like, nah, no way. But them doing Mario Galaxy, like the Mario Galaxy movie, I'm like, okay, maybe
they might do it. I mean, it's a
they might. But yeah, no, like that's what, like, for me,
you know what? Actually, they might do another Mario Galaxy, but they're not numbering it. I bet you they're not numbering it. They're gonna call it something else. Nintendo
Universe
does not like to number stuff. What?
Mario Universe? I mean, they numbered Mario Galaxy 2.
They'll call it Mario Galaxy. They'll call it Mario Galaxy, and then they'll put a name underneath it, like something else. But I don't think they're gonna number it.
I think they're going to number it. And the reason why I think they're going to number it is because they numbered Mario Galaxy 2 and they don't want to confuse people. Like they tried that with Luigi's Mansion, right? Whereas like they did at least in the US, they did Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. And everywhere else, it was Luigi's Mansion 2. But with Luigi's Mansion 3, they said, we're just going to call it Luigi's Mansion 3. Because that's confusing to consumers, to the everyday consumer, where you have one that's like, well, this is number 2. And this one, that's not 3. Is this new? Is this like a prequel? Or is it like an in-between? Do I need to buy this game? You know? That's why I think that if they're going to do it, they might call it 3. I'm with you. I think that usually they're against doing that sort of thing, but I think the fact that they did a 2 already, it has me leaning towards they're probably going to call it 3 if they do it. I hope they don't personally, but I could easily see them being like, man, this movie came out, it's going to make $1 billion. There's going to be people that want to play a video game that's like it. We might as well make Mario Galaxy 3, you know. So
yeah, I can see that. Damn it, dude. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
It's rough, man. It's rough,
I don't know if I would want another Galaxy game.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it as long as it's good. That's the thing. For me, I'm down for anything as long as it's good. Like, if you can sell me on Galaxy again, I'm here for it. Because I like Galaxy. Me, it might be a hot take. I don't know. I like Galaxy 2 more than I like Galaxy. So maybe they can make me like Galaxy 3 more than I like Galaxy 2.
I have something crazy. I only play Galaxy 1. I didn't play 2.
You gotta play Galaxy 2. Dude, you could play it on your Nintendo Switch 2 system.
I can now play it. I forget why. I think at the time I was just too into my Xbox at the time.
It was like swan songy. It was like in the like Skyward Sword kind of domain of like people kind of moved on from Wii at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It lost.
Yeah, I moved on. I wasn't like on my Wii anymore. I played Skyward Sword though. I'm a Zelda.
Yeah, you got
fan all the way through.
Oh, you gotta play that.
I played it and I hated that whole mechanic. I loved the story. I thought the story was great, but I thought it was the worst Zelda game. One of the worst Zelda games I ever played.
I didn't play it at the time because at the time I wouldn't describe myself as a Zelda fan. Like I like 2D Zelda games. I hate every 3D Zelda game that's not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, or Wind Waker. And even Wind Waker, I'm kind of like, I think I gotta play that again.
I get flack for saying I hate the ocean in Wind Waker. It's the whole game, but I hate it. The traveling between it. They made it better with the Swift Sail, but it was so boring. That's
my last memory of the video game. So that's why I gotta finish playing it on Switch Online, because like my last memory is playing it on Wii U. So I'm like, yeah, like I played that and I was like, yes, this is my favorite Zelda at the time. Well, it was between.
It's good. It was good on Wii U because it shortened that time. Exactly. And like the ocean was like there was some stuff to do, but it wasn't like. It wasn't like anything. It was still.
It wasn't
there.
like a Breath of the Wild kind of thing of like, what the heck is going on over there? They didn't do a good job.
No. Yeah. Even Twilight Princess, even though that was pretty barren, and the rewards, it felt like that in a sense. Like they both copied that. It was like very barren. Like all I want to do is the main story and then F off. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
I hated Twilight Princess for various reasons. But it was like smack dab in this era where everybody wanted to be, everything was werewolves everywhere. Twilight took over the universe. It was like, I'm a werewolf. Sonic, I'm a werewolf. Link, I'm a werewolf too. Yeah, bro, I don't want to be the wolf. I want to be the guy on the box.
I loved Twilight Princess, not because I liked it because I remember seeing that tech demo from on the GameCube, and then we got Wind Waker, and I was pissed. Didn't play it. So mad. And then we got Twilight Princess. I'm like, oh, this is the one I wanted, and that's how I felt. It was very biased. That's why I fell in love with it.
Because I'm on the other end of that. When I saw Wind Waker, I was like, yes. I was like, this is a game that I want to play. And
I play it
even in retrospect
later.
It's like I look at Twilight Princess now and I'm like, this is an ugly game. This game looks gross. Even the Wii U version looks nasty. Like it looks like 360 era brown and grays and like that.
Oh no, yeah, it looks bad now. Like in my brain, my what I was 12 when that game came out. My 11-year-old brain, I'm like, this is great. Now when I play, I'm like, these characters look awful.
They look so bad. And even like Smash Brothers Brawl it fell victim to that. Like that game looks disgusting if you look at it now.
I loved Smash Bros. Brawl too.
I like Smash Brothers Brawl a lot, but I think the game is ugly. I think it does not look good. I'll say like Pokemon's kind of in that right now. Like they're in their weird like Xbox 360 era where
They're so
everything
behind always.
everything yes, everything looks
Always.
ugly because it's like they're like, yo, we got Xbox 3. We're on an Xbox 360 now, essentially, like with the Nintendo Switch. And also it's because like, and I always try to like give this disclaimer. It's like they went from a 480i handheld and they developed on only handhelds for the majority of their existence to a 1080p console. No other game developer made that jump.
Didn't they also use the same engine for a while too?
Engines are kind of weird for them. It's not.
I know
like,
they used a similar engine to the 3DS engines they developed. They just blew it up.
Yeah, kinda. Like they developed that HD. Like all the models that they made for 3DS are 1080p. Like they're all HD models because they were preparing.
And then they shrink them down.
Yes, that's why. Like with the Citra, like when everybody was playing Pokemon and they were like removing the outlines of the, I don't know if you remember that era. But yeah, that's what the models are. And the thing is, it's like with the Pokemon games, and I can tell, like, if I cared to do this, if I enjoyed being on PC, I would mod this myself. But I guarantee if Scarlet and Violet had been entirely cell shaded, everybody would say the game is gorgeous. Because the game,
I would enjoyed it.
Because the game like looks the same. Like if you look at the if you saw any of those any of the footage of Breath of the Wild before they cell shaded it, that game is ugly. It's very ugly without the cell shading. But
dude, I did it on accident.
It looks so gross.
I'm not gonna say what I was doing. I was playing it on something, you know, and I'm like, oh, remove the cell. I wonder how. I'm like, go back.
It's so gross. That's what, like
it was so bad.
The shading is literally everything. Recently, the director of the Final Fantasy VII remake, he said that, where he was like, lighting is everything. That is like why we're able to do this, because Switch 2 can now do ray tracing.
That's why next gen, the whole thing for next gen was ray tracing lighting. That's exactly why, because like if you actually have a game that is made from the ground up with, they're like, oh, we're gonna make the lighting really good, like Cyberpunk with ray tracing. They did the pad tracing. It looks gorgeous,
right? And that's just true how cameras work too. Like you could have you could use a 10-year-old phone and it look great if you have good lighting.
Yeah, you're right.
So
that's what it is. I can shut my light off right now. It's gonna look really bad and grainy.
It's gonna look very grainy and nasty. But yeah, no, I argue if Pokemon ever just they're like, you know what? Forget this nonsense of us trying to like have some level of quote unquote realism in our environments and just cell shaded everything. People will be talking about it like it's the best looking Switch game. If they just commit to it being an anime,
I'd be on board with it. I don't know why they're averse to it. I don't know, but I'd be on board with a cell shading with Pokemon. I feel like it fits so perfect.
Pokemon. I think it's because they're thinking that people are going to respond to it the way that people responded to Twilight Princess. I think they're considering the American audience, and they think even if you don't hit the target, if you aim for some level of hyper-realism, quote unquote, people will embrace the game more than if you just lean into the idea that it's like, this is a cartoon, brother. I think that's what they need to do. And I've been arguing it for years. And I hope they do it in Gen 10, but...
I mean, in general, Pokemon is cartoonish.
Yeah.
Even when you do hyper-real, it's... unless you make it look like the movie and it looks gross, some of those Pokemon. Charizard looked... scary,
Charizard looks
dude.
Gross.
He looks scary. He went from like
Mr.
an
Mime
adorable dragon to this.
Gengar looks nasty too. Like a lot of Pokemon look nasty when you try to do the hyper realistic.
Psyduck looked nasty. He looked like he had a disease, bro.
Yeah. So they're just like, man, just blow it all up, make it look like a cartoon, and everybody will love it, and it'll be the best looking Pokemon game of all time. But I actually don't have anything else to talk about now. I'm going to end the recording. Like, comment, subscribe. Everybody that's in the chat right now, go to directly to you and subscribe.
What's the YouTube channel?
It's youtube.com/directly to you.
Oh, yeah.
This will be live on Thursday. I mean, you've been on the show before. You'll definitely be on the show again in the future. We'll probably have to record it like this every time, to be honest.
Yeah, because I never have days off. I think the next time I have like a decent break, and they might force me to work, is Thanksgiving break, and that's it.
Damn. I like doing it like this though, because I'm like every week I'm like, "Ah, man, what am I gonna do? Like I need to find a guest, and it's not usually hard to find guests, to be fair. But it's still something that I got to think about. Now I don't got to think about having a guest for the rest of the week, and that's nice.
Hell yeah.
But all right, goodbye. I'm ending the recording. Bye.